Good morning, everyone. My name is Nigel, and I am the director of UK Churches. First, I want to start out just by making my apologies for not being able to be there today. Unfortunately, I've had to travel, and as a result of that, I've decided to make just a small video introduction, really, to our relationship with Ascension Trust and street pastors, and also showing you a few ways as to how we kind of interact with Ascension Trust and street pastors, but also how you can interact with us with the objective of making sure, really, that you can get your message heard. So, approximately 3 years ago, we started our relationship with street pastors, and that started out with us building the initial street pastors website. Since then, that website has been revamped and to the one that you now see here. One of the key things about the 21st century, and I don't know how many of you are familiar with the scripture from Habakkuk 2:2 that says, "Write the vision and make it plain upon tables." Well, my interpretation of that and my why behind UK churches really is because of the fact that I believe that websites and social media are the 21st century version of tablets. That scripture says, so that he that reads it can run. Meaning, when someone comes to your website, it is the opportunity for you to tell your story. And what might not seem like news to you is potentially news to somebody else. So what we've sought to do really is to make sure that the online presence for street pastors is at the highest level in terms of production values, professionalism, so that when people come, there's a good, strong corporate presence, but also the ability then to share the story. And in terms of sharing the story, it's about giving people the opportunity to understand exactly what street pastors is all about, the ability to join the team, the ability to share stories, and then being able to use tools like social media, things like YouTube, things like Facebook and stuff, which is where the world's conversation is taking place. So in lots of ways, we encourage you to kind of share your story, tell things the way that you kind of see them, report the activities that are going on in your local area. And one of the key ways that we determine to do that is by ensuring that every single area has its own website. So whether you were aware of this or not, it's important for you to know that right now, where you're sat in your chair, your website, your local area has its own website. And the way to find out what your website looks like is by clicking on areas, which is just there on the main menu. And then when you get to there, you'll see all of the areas that street pastors cover in the UK and internationally are all there. You could either click on the map segment, or you could click on the right-hand side here where the main menu is. If you click West Midlands, you'll see that all of the West Midlands areas all come up. I want to highlight Shrewsbury here for a moment. And I'm highlighting them purely and simply because if we go to their website, you'll see that their website is still in, let's call it, its most basic form. So they've added some information to say who they are. The main contact is also there as well. And I mean, that information has been added by us on their behalf. But if we go to another area now, which is Wrexham, you'll see that Wrexham they've done a kind of similar thing, but they haven't really added any information to theirs. Let's go back to Shrewsbury. You'll see Shrewsbury main menu items. If we go across to another website now, Ebervale, you'll see home, about us. So they've got all of their information there. Join us, gallery, news, give, contact us. All of those things are available to you right now. So what is the link or the join then between where you are now and what you can have, or how can you maintain that? Well, that's where UK churches come in. But what we've also worked with Ascension Trust to do is to develop a thing that's called a portal. Now, if you hear the word portal, it actually sounds a lot more confusing, I would say, than it actually is. Really, it's just an online interface that gives you the ability to communicate with us also to communicate information to Ascension Trust as well. The address for the portal is portal.streetpastors.org. Now, you can get to the portal that way, but alternatively, if you didn't want to get to it that way, if you were on the main Street Pastors website, let's just go back to where we were here. We're on the home page, and you are a coordinator, and here is the word coordinators here on the main menu. If you click on coordinators, what happens is it sends you directly across, as you'll see here, to the portal website. Now, here's the portal website, but in order to be able to get into the portal, you are going to need a username and password. Now, the most effective way for you to get that information is to get in touch with UK Churches to ask us for that if you don't have it, or if the previous coordinator maybe hasn't passed that information on to you as well, as yet. The way to contact us, if we go back to the main UK Churches website, up on the top left-hand side here, you can see our telephone number, 0800 689 4376. Alternatively, you can click on the contact page, and as you see here, complete the form below, and we will contact you within the hour. So you just send us the information that you need right there. One of the key things that we insist on, let's call it a Street Pastors protocol, is that you use your official Street Pastors email address to do so. And the reason why we say that is because there may come a time in the future where you may well decide to move on, another coordinator comes into place, and then when they come in, they're going to need access to that information, and it makes it difficult if there are lots of personal different addresses to manage. Whereas if we just have the main Street Pastors coordinator's email address that you were given in the first place, then it makes it easier for us to contact you. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to just log in. And when I log in, it will take me now into the portal. But basically what it enables me to do is to have access to all of the main menu items, all of these items that are up here at the top that say home, response, pastors, news, information. When I click on these now, it will give me access to them. So let me just demonstrate this for you very quickly. If you were to click on news and information, news and information takes you to the news and information segment. And in that segment, that area is divided up into the different types of news, or the different categories of news or things that you would need. So you can see here, latest news, documents and downloads, training, and upcoming events. You click on any of those areas. I'll give you an example. Let's click on documents and downloads. Why might you need that area? You may need access to protocol documents or things along those lines that have been set aside for you or provided for you by Ascension Trust to help you with the setup of your area, or knowing protocols or things along those lines. You'll find all of those things within this particular segment. You might well need to fill in reports. I'm going to encourage you, perhaps even more so than the guys maybe there today, that reporting is incredibly important. The reason why reporting is good is because it helps not only inform Street Pastors as a central body about what is going on, it also enables us really to respond to need in a more effective way. So you've got the opportunity here to check, record your annual reports, report an incident. The other things that you're going to need to do is do things like order things like uniforms and stuff, and merchandise and stuff like that. All of that stuff is available under the shop section. You click on banner, ID cards, uniforms, any one of those areas. Again, let's use an example. You want to order some uniforms. If you click on uniforms, this automatically takes you now to the uniform store where you're able to get absolutely everything that you need. Now, the next key thing for me then is your ability to be able to get into contact with us as an organization to help you to do specific things, or also getting in touch with Ascension Trust in terms of through an online framework. Again, you can do all of this by clicking on the contact area, which gives you the opportunity to contact Ascension Trust, contact UK Churches, also the opportunity to upgrade your website, which I'm going to talk to you about in a second. Let's just say, for example, you were contacting UK Churches and this is where I want to reinforce this particular point about using your official Street Pastor's address. As you can see, that's a requirement here. So if you were Ebervale at streetpastors.org.uk or Haverford West or Shrewsbury, that's the email address that you would use. Then we would know exactly how to handle your particular inquiry. The next thing, and I think this is the really, let's get to the kind of meat of the matter now in terms of your ability to share your story, is going to be about how you do that through the website. Now, I showed you Wrexham, and you can see Wrexham have no main menu items, whereas Shrewsbury have got their own set of menu items, and then you can see Ebervale have got their own set of menu items. How did that happen? That happened by them clicking on the upgrade my website link, and then it takes them through to the area where you can then fill in the form that tells us exactly what main menu items, what text you want on different things, and we will do all of that for you. As you can see here, it says we are now ready to receive instructions to build your site, and we take no more than 10 working days to do it for you. And then we send you an email with a username and password, which will give you the opportunity to add your own content. Here's one question that I guess get asked every single time I do one of these seminars, and it's this: how much is it going to cost, Nigel? The cost is nothing. This infrastructure has been set up, and it's a part and parcel of not just the partnership that we have with Street Pastors, but also the Street Pastor's desire really to support your ability to tell your story. And that's incredibly important. Now, I want to show you something really simple because, you know, sometimes it can feel a little bit overwhelming when you're talking about websites and the ability to do this. You may have zero experience, you may have a little experience, but I want to show you this because I think it's important. I also pastor a church in Wales. This is the church's website. It's called Bethlehem Church Life Centre. And this is the church's website. You can see some of the stuff there. I'm going to take you onto the About Us page. And when we get on there, you'll see, oops, there's an error. We don't want that. Give me 1 second here. All right, let's refresh that. And it'll take you through to this particular page now where you can update and add things to the site. Now, this looks on the surface, it looks like it's incredibly complicated, but really it's very simple. This is the area through which we load information and add it onto your site. Now, when we do this, what we are effectively saying is that we want to not only empower you to be able to manage the website for yourself, but what we want is we want for you to be able to be in a position whereby, let me show you exactly what I mean here. I'm going to do this in a slightly different way. Hold on. Right. Log in. Get to here. Right. When you get your username and password and your ability to be able to log in, then it takes us through to that back-end area, which gives you the opportunity then to send your support request through to us. And then when you send it through to us, we then take care of it through that particular framework and upload it for you. Now, again, we have got potentially, I think we are somewhere in the region of about 276 or 280 locations across the board that have all been, let's call it, beneficiaries of this system in exactly the same way as it's happened for the ones that I've shown you, which are Ebu Vale and some of those other ones. The only way that you can access that, or the best way for you to find out about that, is literally to go to the main Street Pastors website. When you get to the Street Pastors website, it will take you to that main page where you can click on areas. When you click on areas, it will take you through to a specific area. You can choose what your area is. When you click on the area, it will load up for you and tell you whether or not your site has been done or brought up to the scratch level that it needs to be. Once you've done that, once you've got that as a part of your thing, as you can see here with Derby, these guys haven't done theirs yet. All you need to do is get in touch with us through the support request system. Let us know exactly what is necessary, and then we will take care of that for you from there. I want to close out my little portion of this by basically saying to you that the work that you're doing is incredibly valuable. The idea behind this is to spread the gospel, and people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And in that way, the more that you do that, the way that you express that, the way that you share your story, people will be able to come into contact with you, and that will make this, I'd say it's going to make this mission and this movement grow even further and faster. If you've got any questions at all about anything that I've said today, please feel free to go onto the UK Church's website again, click on Contact Us, fill in the support request form, and I and anyone on the team will be most happy to help you. Have a great rest of the day, and my regards to you guys in the team as well.